Welcome to Comics Are Awesome. I am your host, Marc Boker, and today I'm going to be talking about the comics that I like the most, things that I think are awesome and that you should be picking up. But before we get there, I want to apologize for my absence for the last several weeks. There's been a lot of stuff going on, both professionally and personally, and that has taken me out of the mood, I guess, of recording videos. And, for many of you, you've been watching our videos for a very long time, and I feel like we know each other well, even though in some cases we've never met. So I want to kind of let you know what's been going on with me. So first off, my dad has been very sick. He's 81 years old and went in for back surgery on April 3rd and has not left the hospital since then. Actually ended up having 2 emergency stomach surgeries, not connected to the back surgery, but both of those, having 3 surgeries within the course of 2 weeks, for an 81-year-old guy that wasn't in the best shape anyway, or to begin with, has proven to be very difficult. And there was one period actually where he decided he wanted to kind of end things and went into hospice care. And by some miracle, 12 hours later, he was kind of back to himself and clear-headed. Not that he wasn't clear-headed before, but he was having delusions. He was fidgety. He was pulling tubes out. He had an NG tube going through his nose. He pulled that out, and was actually on suicide watch because of some of the comments that he had made while he was having these delusions. But he decided to come out of hospice and decided to power through and push forward. And it's just been a long struggle over the last 3 weeks, and it's going to continue to be a struggle for many months. So I've been going back and forth to the hospital on a regular basis. Now, thankfully, here in our small community of Lima, Ohio, it only takes me about 5 minutes to get to the hospital from the shop here at Alter Ego. So, there were days when I wasn't here at all. There were days when I was back and forth a couple different times, and so that has taken a lot out of me in addition to taking a lot out of him. I am his primary caregiver here, and I do have family from outside of the area, but so I've been spending a lot of time with my dad and trying to make sure that he's being well taken care of. In connection to that, I do want to give a huge shout out to my team here, to Amanda and Alex and Adrian, specifically for helping me out and covering things when I'm not here, and really going above and beyond to make sure that I could be with my dad and not have to worry about the store burning down or falling apart while I wasn't here. So thank you, team. You guys are awesome. The other thing, and even before this stuff with my dad happened, I was really questioning, does any of this matter? Is anyone watching these videos? Is this moving the needle on books that I would like to see get wider recognition? Just kind of in a slump. And, I've been doing this for 16 years, so that's not unexpected. I've been doing the videos for 10 years-ish, and at some point you start to run out of steam, and I think I was there, and I'm kind of still there. But as I was reading some comics last night, I realized that I really want to tell people about some of these books, because you may overlook them because they're not Marvel or DC, or maybe you're burned out and fed up with a certain publisher, and so you're boycotting or you're not buying certain books. And there's a lot of really great stuff going on in the comic book industry. A lot of questionable stuff going on in the comic book industry too, and that's why it's difficult. If I could approach this just as a fan and not as a retailer who kind of has a behind the scenes access pass to what's going on in comics, that would be one thing. But some days I wish I could just view comics as a fan and not worry about the other side of things. But as I said, when I was reading last night, there's some things that really caught my attention, and I wanted to share those with my audience. And so thank you for watching. I mean, to have the subscribers that we have on YouTube is not a small thing, and I feel like I've been letting you down by not providing quality content to you for the last several weeks. So the final piece of the puzzle here is that we here at Alter Ego will be moving, changing location sometime in the next 3 to 4 months. and that's taken up some time. I own the building that we're in now, so I'm trying to sell the building and trying to make the stars align with the move. And really excited about the move. I did post a video on our Facebook page about that, so check that out if you want all the details. And I'm sure I'll be sharing more details on YouTube in the days and weeks ahead. If this is if this is okay with you, if this is okay with me being kind of vulnerable, so to speak, and not just talking about comics, but sharing a little bit of what's going on in my life. And again, the whole point was I haven't done a video in many weeks, and today was the day. Today was the day that I decided, you know what, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to take the time, even though it's the week of Free Comic Book Day and we are running around like crazy people here at the shop to make sure that we're ready to go on Saturday, and hoping that the weather prediction, the weather holds out, because right now we're going to have to make some rain plans, which we've never really had to do. We've been so fortunate. This will be our 14th Free Comic Book Day, and we've never had a rain out. We've had a little bit of rain here and there, but this Saturday it's looking like it might be a rain out. So we're trying to take steps to make sure that everybody can enjoy the day, come out and get some free comics, get pictures with our costume characters, and really have a blast, even if the weather's lousy. So, but today is the day that I decided, you know what, let's talk about some comics. So let's get there. Batman number 70 is out this week, and this is the beginning of a new storyline, but part of the larger storyline that Tom King has been telling since he took over writing Batman 70 issues ago. This is Batman is out of his dreamlike state, which he's been in for the last several issues, his dream/nightmare state, and is fighting his way out of Arkham Asylum. So it is an action-packed, great Batman story. Really looking forward to seeing where Tom King takes us as he wraps up his run on Batman. If I remember correctly, he's wrapping up somewhere around issue 105, 106, along those lines. So still a decent ways to go, but Tom King has been telling a great story, a great large tapestry story over in Batman, and just wanted to give you a heads up that issue 70 is the beginning of a new story arc. So if you've been away from it for one reason or another, or if you want to jump in, this would be a great place to do that. Speaking of Batman, we'll stay there and talk about Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, number 1. This is the same creative team from the previous two Batman TMNT stories. So James Tynion IV, and I believe it's Freddie Williams. I will be honest with you, I haven't read it. It doesn't interest me, but it may interest you. So if you're interested in the Turtles or Batman and the Turtles, and if you read either of the two previous series, this one's kind of a no-brainer. Next up, we have DCeased, number 1. So this is by Tom Taylor, not to be confused with Tom King. Tom Taylor has been writing some amazing things for both Marvel and DC. Most notably, he's written the Injustice video game comic books over at DC, and he did a great run on All New Wolverine with Laura Kinney, and he's currently writing Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, doing a great job on that. So DCeased is a horror book set in the DC universe where a technovirus is unleashed upon the world, and heroes, villains, civilians, and the rest are infected. And what does the world of the DC universe look like in a world like this? So some of you may not have been familiar with it, although they've really been advertising it big time in DC Comics. I think if you enjoy the characters, regardless of whether you're a horror fan or not, I think you'll enjoy it. I really did. I thought it was really solid. DC's Year of the Villain, number 1, is out this week. This is a 25-cent comic, which you may find for free at your local comic shop. That's what we're doing. We're actually giving it away on Free Comic Book Day, but we're giving it to our subscribers as well, so that everybody can be ready to roll with 3 storylines that are spinning out of it. So we've got a story from Brian Michael Bendis that leads into Event Leviathan. We've got Scott Snyder writing a story that leads into Justice League, and James Tynion IV is also writing a story, I think, that's going to show up in Justice League or Justice League Dark. It's a 25-cent DC book by some of the best writers and artists in the business, setting things up for the future of the DC universe. There you go. What else do you need to know? You definitely want to pick that one up. Descendant is one that may not be on your radar. This is from Aftershock Comics. Really liked it if you're a fan of the X-Files and conspiracies and things along those lines. You want to pick it up. Support these smaller publishers that are really doing some great work. Aftershock is one of my favorites here. And one of the customer favorites here too. We've really seen a lot of support for their books, doing lots of different genres over at Aftershock. Descendant is top notch. Highly recommend it. A new graphic novel that you may want to check out is Satchel Paige, Striking Out Jim Crow. For those of you that don't know, I actually have a degree in history, and my area of concentration when I was in college was contemporary U.S. history or 20th century U.S. history. So this book is definitely of interest to me. I love graphic novels that are historically based and can share these stories with a new audience, or make it appealing to maybe a younger audience. And if you're a fan of comics in general, of reading comics, you may be more likely to pick this up than to pick up a 500-page biography of Satchel Paige. But I'm excited to check this one out. If you're a baseball fan, if you're a fan of civil rights, I guess who's not a fan of civil rights, then check out Satchel Paige, Striking Out Jim Crow. I know I'm going to. Savage Avengers #1 is out this week. This is Jerry Dugan and Mike Deodato taking the morally questionable members of the Avengers, or people who have been Avengers, putting them on one team and seeing what happens. So your team here is Wolverine, Elektra, Punisher, Dr. Voodoo, Venom, and Conan the Barbarian. A lot of this first issue is Wolverine and Conan fighting. So if that is your jam, check out Savage Avengers. If you're a fan of Stranger Things and you didn't pick up the Dark Horse miniseries when it was being published, now you can pick up the graphic novel that collects all 4 issues and tells the story of what Will Byers was doing when he was in the Upside Down, because we really don't see that. Season 1 is him hanging around in the Upside Down, and everyone's looking for Will, and Will's sending light signals and trying to communicate with people. But we get to see things from Will's perspective in this story. So if you've only watched the show and you're a fan of Stranger Things, then you want to pick up the Stranger Things Volume 1 graphic novel from Dark Horse, because you don't have the whole story unless you read the comic book story. One of my favorite miniseries of 2018 gets collected this week in The Wrong Earth, Volume 1. This is published by Ahoy Comics, and my pitch for this to everyone has been, imagine the Adam West Batman and the Michael Keaton Batman changing places, changing time periods. You can also substitute the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns Batman if that makes you feel better. So that's what happens here. We've got a character named Dragonfly Man, who is the 1960s-esque superhero, and Dragonfly, who is the 1980s-esque superhero, and they end up changing universes. And it's just a lot of fun. It's perfect for fans of Silver Age comic storytelling, but also modern comics as well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Everyone I recommended it to enjoyed it as well. And I think it's one that was overlooked because it's by a very small new publisher, Ahoy Comics. So pick up The Wrong Earth Volume 1. I should mention that there is a free comic book day Dragonfly Man comic available at your local comic shop on Saturday for Free Comic Book Day. Also, there is a Stranger Things Free Comic Book Day comic available. And since I'm now remembering things, apparently there is a Savage Avengers Free Comic Book Day comic too, which is new material. So the Avengers comic, actually half of it is Savage Avengers, the other half is regular Avengers by Jason Aaron, and is top-notch stuff if you want to pick that up. For the young adult in your family, in your household, that you know, maybe you are a young adult, there is a new DC Comics original graphic novel out called Under the Moon, which is a Catwoman tale. So this is aimed at, normally young adult is 13 and up. DC has amended that for this book and making it 15 and up, because there is some language in here. There's some, I don't want to say questionable content, but stuff that would be more easily digested by someone 15 or 16 and up. But if you have someone, or if you are that falling into that age group, maybe you're interested in the movies, maybe you like the character of Catwoman, but you don't really read comics, then you should check out Under the Moon. I think that you'll walk away from it enjoying it, and maybe that'll get you into some more comics. And really, one of the driving forces behind me shooting this video today is to talk about War of the Realms. War of the Realms number 3 is out today, and good golly, Miss Molly, this series has been outstanding from issue number 1. Jason Aaron is telling the kind of story that I really wanted to read. I think that we all kind of need. We've had enough of heroes fighting heroes, and now we've got all of the heroes banding together to fight off the villains of the 9 realms from the Thor universe. So Malekith is leading the charge, and he's defeated all of the realms except for Midgard, and now he's invading Times Square, and his forces have taken over the world, basically. And so we've got a global story here, which, as I was reading issue 3 last night, really reminded me of Avengers Endgame. Now, that's been out for a little less than a week. Actually, it's been out for a week. Endgame is amazing and fantastic, and a fitting swan song for the Marvel Universe phase 1 through 3. But if you liked Endgame and you're not reading War of the Realms, I would highly recommend that you pick it up. It just has that epic feel, and there's so many characters in it, and you're changing locations page after page. It's a joy to read, and Russell Dauterman's doing a great job on the artwork as well. So to me, War of the Realms, I've said from the beginning, it kind of feels like Inferno from the Marvel Universe back in the mid to late 1980s, where you had the forces of evil from hell. Essentially, you had demons taking over the world, and all of the Marvel heroes were fighting them. So that's what this feels like, although it is significantly different, and it's a different time. It's not 1987, it is 2019, and War of the Realms is one of my favorite books that Marvel is publishing right now. So there you have it, a new Comics Are Awesome video for the first time in a long time. Let me know what you like this week. Let me know if I should keep doing these videos. So comment below. Remember to like and share this so that it gets in front of people that are into comics that are good, comics that are awesome. And thank you for watching this, if you're still with us at the end, for me kind of sharing what's going on with me and not just talking to you about comics. So hopefully I will see you again very soon, and hopefully you get a chance to go out and enjoy Free Comic Book Day at your local comic shop this Saturday.